Good morning, team. We'll start session in a couple of minutes. If anyone have questions, maybe we can discuss meanwhile.
Okay, guys, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, you can hear it for the moment.
Okay. Let's wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Meanwhile, these others are joining. Let's have a quick recap what we did yesterday so that if anyone is new for today's class, they can understand and they are intact. Okay. Let me just connect 2 things. Give me 1 minute.
Since your voice is not that much clear, like not clearly audible.
Yeah. Is it same for all? Is it same for all?
No, I can hear
It's
you.
clear for me.
I guess some issue with your side. Can you reconnect? Bhaskar, can you reconnect? I guess some issue from your side. Okay. Let me increase my, okay. Okay. Let's have a quick recap. What did we see yesterday? We started with something called as DDL commands. Inside DDL commands, we have alter, create, drop. That's it. Is there any command which comes under DDL?
Truncate.
Okay. Thank you. Then we saw DML commands. That is something called as insert, update, and delete. We saw a few things with respect to operators that we use while doing something called update statements. We saw OR operator and equal to, greater than, less than, not equal to. Is there any operator apart from this we saw?
Is
Field.
not equal to.
Is not equal. Okay. Can anyone explain me difference between delete and truncate?
Delete goes row by row and truncate drops the whole table and recreate it with the structure.
Okay.
Delete is a slower process, truncate is faster.
Okay.
Delete is DML command and truncated is DDL.
Okay.
As it is with the structure of the table.
One more difference that we can call.
Weightless. We can use the weightless in delete. We
Yes.
can't use weightless in truncate.
No, wait. That's correct. There is one more major difference. When I'll do something called a transaction control language, I'll come back to this and we'll see. We'll add that one difference also. What is that difference? We'll let you know that in the later class. Okay. Now, what will be our today's agenda is we'll get started with something called as variables. Then we'll see something called as data control language. What are this? And then we'll come back to data query language, where extensively 90% of the time as a data engineers will be working on only one command, that is select. And based on this, we'll be having n number of logics we'll be writing with different objects of your SQL. Okay. Now, before getting started, we have a lot of syllabus to cover. Whatever the contents we are covering in data engineering, there are a lot of things to read. But you should be always make sure. Sunil, please don't do this. Again,
Sagar, sorry to interrupt. Are you showing that QR code only or?
Yeah, even I'm about to ask that. I mean, I can see only the QR code, not anything.
Oh, you're not able to see? Like, okay, let me reshare. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, now it is.
Now we can see.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay. Now, since you have a lot of syllabus to cover inside your data engineering, you should know what to learn, what not to learn. Each and everything we can't go and master. There should be some things where we need to know on the higher level. We need to know what the functionality of those objects are doing, because whatever I'm going to show now for next 20 to 30 minutes is only for the understanding purpose. In my 8+ years of career, I have never worked on data control language with respect to MySQL or any other SQL database. I worked on my MS SQL, I worked on Postgres, I worked on MySQL. These are the on-prem database I'm saying. Now, in my 8+ years of career, I had never went and executed one piece of line on something called as data control language. Now, what is this data control language? I'll come back. Apart from that, there is something called as variables. Now, I'll be showing you a few slides where I'll be showing you a lot of numbers with respect to variables. I'll be showing different types of variables. You should never go and by heart those things. Oh, only thing you should know, for what kind of data, what is the best suited data variable or variables we can use. Or if you don't know that also, that is fine, because we have different types of databases. As we saw, MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL, Postgres. From IBM we have, and inside cloud we have Snowflake, Databricks, Redshift, BigQuery. A lot of different data warehouse and lakehouse architectures we have. For their respective databases and data warehouse, the whatever the data types, so not variable, sorry, my bad, data types. I'm talking about data types. Now, whatever the data types you have, it varies from one database to another database. So we need to understand what data types are best suited and just have that understanding. So I'll be spending 10 minutes on this for next 10 minutes, and then we'll come back on data control language, where we'll see few things on this, because whenever you go and work on any organization, you need to have this idea why you are not having access for few of the objects. We'll spend 10-15 minutes here, and then we'll come back and work on extensively on DQL, where we'll be concentrating more of few of the operators. Apart from this, we'll see few more operators. I go till now. Any doubts? Maybe.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Can you see my screen? Can you
Yes.
able to see it? Okay.
Yes, data types.
Now, inside data types, you have different types of data that can be coming into your table. Okay, you can add only numbers. You can add something called as floating values that you all know. If you have any something called as rupees.paisa inside your bank accounts and all transactions, you'll be adding something called as only as a character. There might be few data which should be like true or false condition. There might be some data that might come as image or any other binary format. Now, for any database, we have few types of data types that can be used. The first type is mainly working with your numbers. When you work with numbers, based on the numbers you use, there are few types of data types. Compared to that, tiny int, there's something called tiny int, small int, medium int, integer, big int. Now, what is this tiny int, big int, small int? Why we are like we are doing dividing like this is, now whatever the values you pass inside your data type. Now you're inside your database, you have created a table. In that table, you have created a column. That column, you are adding the data row by row by row, and each column should have specific space. Now in the back end, your database to store that particular data. So you have to intimate your database saying that this is a table which I'm having. In this table, I have 100 columns, and for each column, these are different data types I'm getting, so that you make use of space accordingly in the backend to store my data inside your data. So if you are having something called as age, and we all know age, can anyone survive more than 200 years?
No.
Okay, 100? Greater than 100 years?
Yeah, rare chances.
Okay. 70?
Yes.
Okay. Now we all, what about, let's say 125 years? Now you all know, now your organization is something called as you are targeting with the age group of 20 to 60 years of group. And I know that more than this years of group, the organization, my data might not come into this particular column. I'll go and use something called as tiny int, because whatever the data you are storing has a digit, per digit is going to occupy space, some space in the backend. So if I go and put as something called as big integer, for each particular character, it will occupy 8 bytes of space. And imagine if you have a millions of data unnecessarily, and you have 200 plus of tables, and you are unnecessarily using that space in the backend, and you are not using your database to the efficient manner. Okay, now whatever you see these numbers, this 2 raised to 8, 2 raised to 16, if you come and ask me without this slide, even I will not be able to answer this particular number. Now, how come you say that, Sagar? Now, how come I come up with the best data type for integer then? Go with your document. For each of the data warehouse or anything, there will be a specific data types that are being supported. We know that because in some of the data types, for example, for your MySQL, I guess, tiny int is not supported. It supports something called as int and big int. There is no medium int, small int. So some of the data types, database cannot support some data types. So according to your use case, you can go and use that particular data type. Now, when we go with this particular tiny int is, whenever you want to use something very less number of records, that you know that you don't have anything like age cannot be greater than this number of digits. So you can, whenever you use something called tiny int, you can go up to plus 127. If you go and enter 129, it will throw you an error because only this number of numbers, the variation which it takes, minus 128 to plus 127, only this it can take, so it will throw you an error. Okay, at that time, if you want to go more than something 127, I'll go and use something called a small int, where I'm keeping this number of digits. Okay, now you have something user ID, stocks, number of stocks. You know that it might go up, it might come down. So based on that, go and select your something called as integer or big int. Okay, now we all know our phone number starts with 6 to 9 digit. It varies around this in India. We have 10-digit phone number, and starting number is from 6 or either 9. It can be 6, 7, 8, 9. Anyone from with 8? Anyone phone number will start with 8, digit 8 here?
Yes.
You have 8? Oh, that's great. Okay. Now, giving some error. Okay. So if your number starts with something 6 or 8, 7, 9, and you see there is something called as an integer, that value is 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it's suppose some 10 digits, but it is starting maximum value it can go up to 2 at the start and 10 digits. So if you go and add something called as 6 and your 10 digits, it will not support in some of the databases. At that time, you have to go and use something called as pick it. Okay, now it depends how you are using. Now, based on your requirement, you can go and use whenever you go and use something called as integer with no floating values. That means no decimal. I have no decimal in my account, in my particular data that is coming in my column. Only integer type of data is coming. I'll use something called as int or big int. Okay, fine. Now I don't have any integer. My data is coming called as a character. Now you have seen yesterday, if you are entering anything with respect to integer as a data type, we are not passing any quotes or double quotes while doing insert into. Whereas your character, whatever you are doing, you have to mention something called as double quotes and quotes, and we'll be passing that so that that can be added into your database. Now, inside any of the database, there are two types mainly you have to understand. One is char, another is varchar. Now, some of the folks who are freshers or 2 years of experience, 1 year of experience, there might be a chances they can ask, what's the difference between char and varchar? Now, whenever you use something called as character, you can go only up to something 225 characters. That is, whatever the number you mention here, that will go only up to 225, but it's a fixed length. What do you mean by fixed length is, you have mentioned something called as 255, and you are adding only one character, but also it will go and consider space for 255, not for this one character, because that's the functionality of your char data type, where it's a fixed length data type. Whereas your varchar is nothing but variable length data type. That means you have gone and created something called as varchar of 225, and you are entering only one digit. It will only occupy space bytes for this one digit plus one more byte. Why? Because it has to maintain a memory, how many number of records are being coming for that. So in that way, you're optimizing your storage using something called as varchar, and maximum up to 65,535 characters in one particular record you can go and use when you use something called as varchar. Now, in some of the databases, there is something called as nvarchar. Now, what is this nvarchar? Is nothing but you are adding something called as, let me remove this. Okay. You are adding something called as multilingual data. That is, you are adding Chinese, you can add Hindi, you can add Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, any of the data that is coming inside your something record. In some of the databases, it will be added as nvarchar, whereas your MySQL and your Snowflake, there is no nvarchar. There is only varchar. It will convert automatically by themselves, and maybe this size might differ for few of the databases also, because when you come and see inside your Snowflake, it is not this, it is more than this number of characters. Okay, fine. And what you mean by string is, it's a generic way of identifying the terms, because if you go and create, when you come and create any Snowflake object, there will be something called a string, but in the backend, it will go and convert to varchar, and it will keep as a varchar inside your Snowflake. And character, when we are going to use is, we know that there is, for example, I'm using country code, and I know only 3 digits of variable I'm going and keeping. In that time, I won't go use something called as varchar, because I know always 3 digit is coming. If anyone is going and adding 4 digit, I need to throw an error. I'll go and use char of 3, and I make sure that only 3 digits are used, and it occupies only 8 digits. Any doubts so far? Are we good till now? Are we good till now? Are we good?
You said we can limit it to 4 by 7 char 3. So can't we use VARCHAR there?
Yeah, you can use varchar of 3 also.
Okay.
That's also work. But there is no, what happens? You are giving one extra byte to store the memory.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a hard compulsory rule that don't use varchar, because it seems very small data, that's fine. But just the functionality of char is it is allowed a fixed length. Even though if you are using 3 character and using 1, it will always go and occupy for 3 space. Okay. Now, there are different types of data types for your decimal. Inside, you might see something called as float, double, decimal. Even in Snowflake, you can see these things. But whenever you go, in Snowflake, it will go and convert into something called as number. You put as decimal, it will go and convert into number. You put as float, it will convert into number. You put a double, then also it will convert into number, where it will always go and do something like this. Even for integer inside your Snowflake, whenever you go and put as integer, in the backend, it will go and convert into a number with a precision of 10, 0. Because there is no int type of data type, only number and varchar, and few other data types is there based on date and all, but inside Snowflake, only this is supported. Whereas decimal is where, if you want to give an exact precision of your scale. Now, after this particular 99 point, whatever the values you are putting, I want exact precision to be maintained. It will go and use something decimal. Float, sometimes they use float, where precision is little bit less compared to that of your something called as decimal. For example, if you see it was coming 99,999 point, here it will come at 62.3. A little bit precision will be less. More than double is something more accurate with respect to your float. But the number of digits will increases inside your double. So now, based on your requirement, you can use. There is no hard and fast rule. I want to use float. I want to use double, decimal. Whenever whatever the data types that is supported by your database, you can go and use that particular data type. Okay. And if you are just using money, bank transaction, we'll use something called as decimal. If you have any scientific calculation where small precision loss is okay, we use float. Where more greater precision is required, usually double is being used. But again, I'm saying according to the data warehouse, according to lake house, according to database. Nowadays, these all things we'll see in the future classes. But according to the requirement, it will go and store backend based on the algorithm they have created on top of your. Okay. Again, if you want to store something with respect to date data type, you're storing something date type of data, then we'll go and use something called as date data type. And most of the database, date data types is identified by YYYMMDD. This should be the format. If it comes and keep like this, then only some of the database will understand. Okay. I want to go with respect to more hour millisecond. I'll use something called as date time, and I want to go with system generated timestamp. I'll use something called as timestamp, where according to your system you're generating on the go, we can go and use something called as time. Okay, fine. We saw integer, that was good. We saw variable, that was good. We saw decimal values using something called as decimal, float, double, fine. I handled my date type of data type using something called as date. What is this Boolean? Okay. We know that is I have particular customer that is coming, and I want to make sure that whether this particular customer is actively ordering. For example, you're ordering everything from your Amazon, and Amazon is tracking how many numbers of orders you are doing, and it makes sure that if every 3 months at least 2 orders have been ordered by the consumer, I'll make and create one column called as is active, is ordering active, and I'll put it something called as true. That means he is active customer, and I can denote that. Okay, from past 3 months, he has not ordered any single account. That means he's an inactive customer. I can go and make it as false. And in some of the database, 0 as indicated as false, 1 you will indicate as true. Now, if you go and define as Boolean, in some database, it will allow you to add true, false. In some database, it might not allow, it will allow you to add 0 and 1 based on the database you are using. Okay? Are you good till now? Any doubts? Any doubts? No doubts? Okay. Now coming to next. This is the least used data types so far. I never used this. Inside MySQL or any other on-prem system, where if you want to store something, files, images, encrypted data inside your database, we use something called as binary, var binary, or blob. Similar to this is something called as variant data type inside your Snowflake. When we'll be seeing Snowflake, we'll see more about this variant data type. But this is whenever you want to store something, images and all, you can go and use something called as this type of data type. Now, as I said, don't go and bahut this. You know, any character is coming, try to use VARCHAR. And you know, if any fixed number of records are coming, use character. If you have any numbers that are coming inside on-prem, use integer. If the values are not coming up to the mark, if it's going beyond your requirement, go with big int. If you are using any date format, use date data type. There is date with time, date time. If you want system generated, use timestamp. If any Boolean is coming, that is true, false. If you want to do, use Boolean. And if there are any floating values, go with either decimal, float, or double. These are the data types you need to understand. It is all across your Python. It remains same. But along with Python, there are a few more things we need to understand. Few more different data types will come, but it remains same there. You go Snowflake, it remains same. You go Databricks, it remains same. Are we good? Are we good? Yes, no?
Yes.
That being said, let me come back and see one last topic before going into actual DQL. There is something called as data control language. Now, what do you mean by control? What do you understand by control? What do you guys understand? Anyone? What do you mean by control?
Like limitations.
Okay. So you have an object. So far we have seen, I gave an example for delete. Please, again, don't do this. I gave an example for delete. I gave an example for update. I gave a scenario where we had an Amazon sale where he went and deleted all the record. He went and updated everything to 30K. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Okay, what was the situation? Why it happened?
You did not put the where condition.
Not use a where condition. Now, your Amazon is multi-billion dollar business company. Okay. It is going into an Amazon sale. Do you think as an Amazon person, will he give access for a developer to go and delete any item, update any item on the go where you're displaying all the sales to the public? You guys think, is it feasible to give Amazon this access? Is it feasible for Amazon? Any guy, let's say manager who is working, who instructed you to do the changes, will he give the access directly in the environment, which is a live, which is for your consumer who is able to see all the products? Go and update my data here in the database, where directly it is displaying inside your application. It can be displaying inside your website everywhere. Do you think Amazon manager or admin who is working, will he give access to do all this delete update? Do you guys understand my question? Yes, no? Okay. So, any organization you go, if that particular organization data is live, okay, that is being used in the public, you will never be having access to the database first. And if you have access also, you'll be having access to only something called as select from this particular, and you can read the data, but you cannot go and delete the data. You cannot go and update the data. And how I can make sure for any object where I can implement this is using something called as data control language, where we have something as grant and revoke. Okay, we'll give a grant. We'll say for this particular user, you have a grant access. If that particular grant access is given on top of that table to delete, update, then only you'll be able to go and delete, update, or insert. If that access is not given, then you'll be not able to do that. Okay, shall we see the quick demo on top of this? I go till now. Any doubts? Okay, I take it as no. Fine. I'll come back here. What I'll do is, since we'll not use this, let me bring a few of the commands which I can directly show you. I'll use one database. I'm creating one database. Okay, I've created one particular database. Create database already exists. Okay, what I'll do, I'll drop this maybe. Okay. Now I'll go and create this particular database. We have a database that is there with something called as SchoolDB. Okay, fine. I'll create one particular table under this particular database. I'll say use this particular database and just creating one small table. Bring that and I'll put it here. Okay. I created a small table. Now, what is the primary key and all who are new to SQL? Don't worry, we'll see that in future class. Okay. Now, this is what my main workbench I'm using. I installed this particular MySQL in my laptop. I am an admin for this particular MySQL. Now, whatever I'm doing with respect to my MySQL workbench, I have each and every access for update, delete every statement. Now, what I'll do, whenever you go and join any organization, you'll be not given access to everything. They will create you as a user, and that particular user login details will be given to you, where you'll be going and connecting to your database. The same way, I'll create one user. Since this is a school database, I've created one teacher has been added. So I'm saying create user, one teacher user, and local host is nothing but whatever the laptop you have hosted is, that server is inside your local. So I'm using localhost. But whenever you in your admin is there, based on the server, whatever is there, you'll be doing that. And identify by password. So I'm giving for password for this user. This is a password. Using this particular password only, you can log in. Okay. I'll go and create this. Now, let me come back and open one more SQL Workbench. When you come and see, there is something called as connection. I'll click on this particular connection. I'll give name test teacher or something as school DB. Now, whatever my user was, that particular user, I'll copy this. I'll paste that particular user name and password what I gave, that particular password I'll be giving here. I'll say okay, I'll say test connection. Connection is successful, and I'll go and say okay. One of the connection is there. Now, as a user, now you have joined the organization. They gave this, now you're connected to your server. And once you open this particular server, can you see any objects here? Can you see any objects here?
No.
Okay. Got closed. My local instance. Okay. Now this is here you can see a same way you have local. If you see, I'll zoom it more. I guess you can see there is one more user where under this I have created user. Now since I'm logging in the same server, it is showing side by side. Here is a main admin guy where I'm doing all the activities, and this is where I've given a user. Okay, let me go and create new. Okay, I'm using what? Use school DB. Okay, I'm under this. Now there is one particular table here. I'll go and give something called as select and grant access to my something called as whatever the tables we have. Now this is particular tables that is coming from my school DB and students. I'll go and give that particular one table access to my user that has joined my organization. I'm saying grant select. You can select the data. You can insert the data onto this particular table for this particular user. And as soon as I run this, you come back and refresh. You see school DB. You see an object and you see a table. Now, if I go and see select CHAR from, let me first use the database. Okay. Students, I'll go and see this. There is no data. Okay. I want to go and insert a data. I can go and insert my data, insert into students, values. I'll give my values. Okay. Let's say ID as 1, comma, let's say give as Sagar, a student, and grade is 8. Okay, 8 standard. Let me give that grade. Now he went and he started working. He's doing insert and all. You are able to insert. And if you go and see here, the data is here. If you come back to my database and you see here, I'm able to see here also. because I'm an admin of this particular database. Now, as a user, I'm one of the user I'm using, and you are the user, and both have user, and you're working on top of certain tables. Now, in this way, you can grant access for different people. Okay. Now, since this is something called as user, I'll try to revoke access, but now I'm going and revoking access in my user. I'll try to make sure that, okay, he's not having any insert access. Let me see if I have any issues by granting few things, or else let me revoke before inside from my admin. I'm revoking my access for this particular student, for this user, anything. I said, okay, I no need to give access for him. Let me revoke that. Okay. And if you come back and see, you have still access for database. You see still table. If I go and see select, don't revoke. I need to do something called as flush privileges. Whenever you revoke, we have to do flush privileges inside MySQL. And if you come and see, still it is team. Revoke insert on. Okay, I gave only insert on revoke. Select, still it is there. That's the reason you are able to do that. Now again, I go and insert my data. It throws you an error saying that insert command is denied because access is not given. In this way, you can give access for delete, update, whatever. In this way, you can go and control. In this way, how organization is controlling your database based on something called as revoke and grant. Now I saw that I don't have insert. Oh, I know the command. I'll go and give myself only, right? I can go and give, I'll go and test it. As a user, I can give all my command and I'll go and execute. That will not work because you are not an admin to give all this access. And as an admin, there will be always admin who will be working on this grant access. It remains same for your Snowflake. It remains same for your Databricks. Anywhere you go, admin are the one who will be working on this. You will need to not to think more about this. But for our Snowflake, there will be one specific class for something called as role-based access control, because we have a lot of functionality there. We can do few things with respect to Snowflakes, where if you join any new organization or anything that is a startup or anything, they might come and ask you to work on those things inside Snowflake. We'll be touching that one end-to-end class there. Now I want to remove this user only because I know that this particular user have left my organization and he has gone to some other organization. Now he does not exist in my organization. I'll just go and use drop user. I'll use this drop. Now this drop is not a DCL command. This is again your DDL command. I'm dropping this. Now if I come and see, still I'll be able to see few things. Now all the objects are gone. Now if I remove this, I'll come by back my workbench. If I try to log in, it asks password. Let me give password. If I try to log in, it will never log in because that user has been removed. Are you good with data control language? You don't need to go and spend a lot of time on this. You just need to have understanding whenever you don't have any privileges, so that you can go and communicate with your admin. Any doubts? Please let me know. Are we good? Anyone new to SQL? Are you guys following?
Yeah, good.
That being said, let me go back to my local host. Yesterday, we went and we used Amazon. Let me use this database. I have a table. Let's say product. How do you guys do backup of a table?
CTAS.
Okay, can you give me a command? Can anyone give me the command? What's the command?
Create table as
Create table name, table 2 as
select.
okay.
Select the shop.
Okay. What this will do?
It creates new table with the table name.
Okay, new table with data. I don't want data means I don't want data. I want only structure of the table means
Where with the false condition.
False condition.
here 1 equal to. Okay, this we have seen. Okay, fine. I have this particular table. Now you are seeing here, we added few records. Fine. Now you have an Amazon day, Amazon Big Billion Day. Your Apple company is coming and giving a sheet of, I'm going to sell 2 million records. So you go and add this number of data into your database. Now will you go and write 2 million insert into data into table? Can you go and write this? Is it feasible to do? Will you go and do insert into my values? OID 1, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, first record completed, comma. I'll do this, second record completed, third record completed. They might give this data in the form of CSV, Excel, any format. This is my data. Go and add this particular data into your database. Will you go and see one by one record and insert that?
No.
Okay. Okay. What's the other thing to do? Let me bring that data set that I can show you. Okay. Can you see my Excel sheet? Can you see my Excel sheet?
Yes.
Okay. Now I have a data like this. We have these many number of records. Let's say how many number of records? They're given 1000 records. Now I need to insert these particular records into my database. Now why we need to insert into database? I need to analyze few of the things on top of this table. Now every time I can't go and put it as a filter here. There's a filter, I'll put filter. Okay, I have filter. Now I want to go and see how many number of countries are there. Okay, India, I can't go and see here. Okay, how many different types of customer types. Okay, I want to see data on this. I'll go and analyze for VIP. Okay, this is data, what he's doing, how much sum. These all things are difficult for me. I have to do always filter by filter. Now what I'll be doing is, I'll insert all this data into my database and then I'll start analyzing on top of this particular data. Now, how to insert this number of records is, if you come back to your MySQL, now let me remove this. Sometimes it won't load if the file is open. Okay. Now, on top of your table, there is something called as import data wizard. Okay, you can directly go and click on top of this. Now it says to browse. Go and browse the data which you required. I'll browse that. I'll say next. It says, what is the table required? You need to create. It is asking under which database, under which, what should be a table name? You on top of that. Go next. What should be your data types? Okay. For now, what I'll see, any date data types are kept as text. Why? I'll let you know. The ordered data. Okay, text. Any other? Now see, automatically it took and city it has taken big int. Now that is wrong. I need to go and change that to text because that is coming as text. Now amount and all, double is nothing but float. That is fine. Any other? Product count, it has taken int and that's also look fine. Okay, now I'll go and it depends on your coding. Now what type of SQL Excel file you are getting, it depends on that. UFS 8 is a universal code. I'll take this and let me see one more time. If again it has changed to customer type, it has changed to big int. Okay, what is customer type? Let me see. It is not begin. It is called as text. Okay. Others look fine. I'll go and I'll say next. It will go and start importing the data into my database. It takes 1 or 2 seconds. It'll do quickly, and it has inserted. And if you go and see, my 1000 records have been added to my table. Okay, finish. Remove all this. If you see select star from my, I'll refresh this. There is a orders data table. I can go and see the data, and I have my data. Okay, I have all my data that is coming. All the data is there. Now, if you want to filter only few records, I'll put it as 50 here. And if you're running every time, it will only bring few records. Okay, it is not filtering. Fine. Now you have all the data. We'll come back to this later. All this data is there here. Now, on top of this, we will be learning few DQL commands. We'll learn few things. There are a lot of advanced things will come into the picture, but to get started, and we'll learn few operators and all, which is very important for your basic foundation, because that way you'll be manipulating data inside your Snowflake, Databricks, or any other cloud. Okay, fine. Now, I need to go and see my table definition. I'll use something called as describe. And I'll go and add my table name. Describe table name. If you go and run this, it is giving what all data types, what all other constraints. When you see constraint, you'll see any nulls are allowed. You can add nulls and all. About all information about this it is giving. And if you see, come and see, there is something called as date data type. It has taken as text, as we have passed text, and there is one more column called order data type. It has taken as text. I have a structure. I want to alter my date text to date. Can I use alter table command to do this? Can we use alter table?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll say alter table orders underscore data. Now, since we are modifying our column, I'll say modify for column with column name. And first and foremost, I'll come and take my order data, modify that to date. Okay. I modified. That's running fine. If I come and see it, that's also running fine. Let me go and use describe here. Describe. Okay. My order date has converted into date. Okay. Now, same way, I'll copy this. You guys don't copy if you're new to SQL. Practice it by adding the syntax. I'll take my this and I'll put my that name here, date, delivery date, and I am doing this. Now, it is giving an error. Why? If you come here, it is giving an error saying that default value this cannot be a date column. If you come and see your data, do you have any nulls here? Do you see any nulls in date, delivery date? Now, what is this particular empty value? Now, since this particular value, this is not denoted as null or nothing, it has converted into an empty string and it has given a blank space. Now it is considering as a string. Now, once this string is there, now you cannot convert this string to date. Now, how to handle this? How we can handle this particular scenario? There might come situation where they are sending you as a blank, and we need to analyze this particular data, and we need to make sure that if there are any blank, I need to go and set it to null. Can we do that? Can you set it to null?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go, I'll say update my orders data. I'll say set, and I'll give my delivery date equal to null, where my delivery date is blank. To indicate any blank, we just give double quote, or single quote 2 times, or double quote 2 times. Anything supports inside your SQL. I'm saying wherever there is blank, go and set that value to null. Now, yesterday while filtering, when we are using null, we used is. Why we are not using is here? Anyone thought about this?
While filtering, we don't know the exact value, but here we updating with the exact null value.
Yeah. We know that for this particular column, I need to go and put as null only. I'm equating this to null, whereas while filtering, that null value, we don't know what is null. That's unknown. That's why we always, while filtering, we use something called as is, but whereas while adding, we use something called as null. Okay. I'll go and update my table. If you come and see, not a bit, rows are affected by again SQL save. Score updates equal to 0. I'll go and update. Okay, 253 records have been affected. If I come and see, now data has been null. Now your data type will take only date, and if there is no unknown null, it can identify and say, okay, null is fine. We no need to convert anything to this particular column. I won't convert any data type, but this is string. I need to go and convert that into date. That will go and convert, but make sure whatever the date columns you have here, it is of the format in the string YYY DD. Now, if this is not in this format, it will not be able to identify. It will throw an error. Now, how to convert this all format and all, we'll be seeing there are inbuilt functions when we'll do scalar function or user-defined function. We'll come back to that and we'll see. But now, let's make it simple. I'll go and update. I'll modify my date and I'll put it as order date now as date, delivery date, right? I'll put my delivery date as date, right? Now it has affected and it has changed. Now if I come and describe my data, our delivery date is also date format. Our order date is also date format. So far, are we good?
So do we need to execute safe update every time before updating anything?
This is that's what, right? I forgot to find. There is some settings we have to do. Under that settings, if you went and do that as 0, it will never ask. But for every session, whenever you go and open new more session, it only affects for this particular session. At that time, it will ask.
I mean,
Okay.
in the same session only we have executed this command, right? Previously, when we are updating first time.
No,
So
session
again,
means
why it is asking?
no, session
That means
means
new page only, right?
new page. If I go and use this is one session. Now, whatever query I'm doing, this is one session. Now, any new page you open, that is a new session.
I mean, what I mean is, I mean, in the same page only we have executed in the starting.
No, I did not. Now I executed. Now it is allowing. No, this is completely new session I opened. That's the reason it was throwing. Okay. Now we did that. Now we have a data. Now let's go and analyze our data and we'll start working on top of our data. Let me zoom in. Okay. We have our data here. I can see these number of records. Now there is something called as total amounts. Okay, I'm seeing okay, lot of amounts are coming. I need to analyze a data. I need to see all the data where my amount is greater than, let's say, 3000. Can anyone give me the code?
Select start from image data where total amount greater than 2000.
Okay, total amount greater than 2000. That's correct. So we are filtering our data. Whenever you go, you are able to filter a data and you see all the data that is greater than 2000. If you put the least, it is something taken as 2400. That's fine. That is fine. Now the same way, I need to go and filter a data where my orders, to come and see here order, there is pending shipping. I need to see all the delivered orders. What I'll be doing, I'll take here. Now you guys don't go and copy paste. I have something called as order status underscore status. I'll give equal to my data that is delivered. Okay, fine. This is also fine. This is also fine. We are able to see the data, all the data that is with respect to delivery. Now, as I said, if you are any integer type of data type, we can directly go and pass that. No need for quotes. Whereas you have something called as variable, we are going and passing. Okay. Now I need to find all the data that is greater than, let's say, this particular, or I need to find all the data that is less than this particular data. Okay, I'll copy this. I'll take this again. My delivery date comes into the picture now. I'll say delivery underscore date. Now we have something called as less than this particular date. To copy this, I'm pasting it here and I'm running this. No value is coming. Okay, let me pass this in a quote and see whether date is coming or not. Now I'm able to see some data. That means if you want to pass your date data type, that should also be mentioned in the quotes. I go till
Sir,
now.
I have a question. Sir.
Yeah.
Now, there are so many commands here. Difficult to remember everything.
Yeah, I'll put that. Give me some time. At the end of the class, I'll summarize you how you need to remember.
Okay,
Give
no,
me 2-3
but the
minutes.
question is, out of thousands of command,
Hmm.
if let's say I go for an interview
Hmm.
and they ask me something which I'm not able to answer, then they will reject me, right?
Okay. For that
I'm just
reason
asking,
only,
like this
I got
is
it. I got it.
this is, but how many commands we can remember?
I totally get you. For you interview,
Uh-huh.
they won't come and ask filter data, do this and all. Inside interview, there is certain set of questions that will be asked. For example, they will ask you join the tables and give the command. They'll ask do some calculation, aggregation, and do the commands. And these all are basic. Okay, what I'm doing, less than everything, these are basic. At the end of this today's class, I'll say how the operator works. Is get some idea. Now, based on requirement, you say, okay, I want less than this particular date. You know that select command. Select is where it is selecting the data from our table. To filter anything, we are using something called as where clause. And I need certain condition where I say less than this particular date means I have certain operators. This is less than, this is greater than, this is not equal to, this is equal to. I know these operators. Now, based on my requirement, I'll go and put that particular operator. Yesterday, we saw something called as and or operator. We know that if any two particular condition 100% satisfied, then only I need to go and use or. If any one of the condition is satisfied, I need to go and use or. Now it depends on your filtering data. Now this is a foundation of any SQL language. There is no other shortcut. If you are completely new to SQL, you will be having few jitters at the start. But if you start working, if you start practicing, it's a very simple English. Now, this is a simple English language where I'm saying select from my table where I have particular data. Now, the way you speak, you have to indicate that into a SQL command. Got it? Kevin?
Thank you.
Okay? Fine. Anyone having same doubt? No? Fine. Okay. Now, we have added, we have filtered our data type, we have filtered our delivery, we have filtered these things. That is fine. Now, let's go and see what is not equal to. Now, I have so many data here. There are so many customers. I want to see all the data apart from VIP, whatever the customers are there. I want to go and analyze that particular data. Again, everything remains same. Select star from your table where now I'm filtering on top of my customer type. And I'm saying apart from VIP, I need to go. This is a not equal to symbol, which I have seen yesterday also. And I'll pass as VIP. Now I'm able to filter that particular data. Okay. I got filter. I got all my data. Now there is no VIP under this. If you come and see, the data is apart VIP. Now the same thing, if I want to go and analyze inside my Excel, I need to go, I need to add a filter. I need to make sure, okay, one by one, I need to put this all data, analyze and do a lot of stuff. That's the reason your database comes into the picture where you are adding all data into your database and writing the simple SQL commands to analyze that particular data. Okay, fine. We've seen these things equal to or all operator. That's fine. We'll come back to this and or again, few more scenarios we'll see. But take an example that this particular data. I have this particular table. Okay, that's fine. I see there is something called as total amount, and it is ranging from least, that is 10 rupees, and it is ranging from highest to come down, that is up to 4,799. Now, I need to analyze few things. My manager has come and said, okay, filter all the data that has spent or use something called as total amount. He has spent at least 2,000, and from 2,000 to 4,000, whoever has spent this particular amount, I need you to filter those data and check that particular data. How much, what's the pattern analysis you see? Bring all that information. We will go and give a certain offer for this particular customer because they are spending at least 2,000 to 4,000. And if you give more discounts, they might come back and do more shopping. Okay, this was my requirement. Now, how can I achieve this?
That total amount is greater than 2,000 and total amount less than 2,000.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, I say greater amount, right? Total amount, total underscore amount greater than 2,000 and again total amount less than 4,000. Now I'm doing and filtering. I'm adding my AND logic. Now once this both conditions satisfied, you bring me that particular data. When I run this, we have all the data that is ranging from direct 2,000 directly coming back to whatever the least amount you have in the down is 3,443. Okay, that is fine. Now, the same way, same thing, I can write a query in another way. All I'll say is, I'll take this, I am going to introduce one more operator inside your SQL, that is between. Okay, I'm using this particular between. I'll say, I give my between, I'll say 2000 and 4000. I'm saying between 2000 and 4000. I'm giving my lower bound, I'm giving my upper bound. Now what I'll do, let's go. I'll give this particular value. Okay. I'll give this particular value, and I'm going and giving this particular value. Let me go and give this. Okay. Let me give the same value. It will take float also. Now, when we gave something called as greater than 2000 and less than 4000, it gave all the values that is ranging from 2000 to 4000. And I'm using the same command, but now I'm using something called as between. What I'm saying, between this particular data, go and filter. And if you come and see, let's see what it will do. It has gave the value, and it is taking your first record also. It is taking your last record also. That means whatever the range you give from that start of that range and end of that range, it is going to take. But if I pass the same amount here, would I have taken it? Let's consider this.
No.
So between is another operator where you can go and use something as range of. Okay. Now, apart from this, okay, I have a select. I'm using something called as order ID. I'm using city. I'm using discount. I'm using, let's say, order underscore status. Okay, from my order. Okay, I'm using this particular data. I'm reading my particular data, and only particular select I'm using, and I'm able to read. But in my requirement, I'm using this particular table to my something called as Power BI dashboard, and my requirement was, I need to show this as, instead of order ID, I should have shown this particular thing should have come as OID. CT should have come as something called as CT underscore name. Discount should have come as discount, and order status should have come as only status. But this particular requirement is only for my one particular report, whereas other reports are using same column name. Now I can't go and alter my table. I can't rename these things because all other different reports or any other objects are using same column name. For this particular use case, I want to put this. Then we have something called as aliasing inside your my SQL. Now, how you do aliasing is, whatever you take, I'll go and I say as, and I'll put that as OID. Now I'll say go as, I put CT. I'll go and put discount as. I go and put order status as. Now when you go and read this particular data, now you are just changing your column name on the go. You are not affecting your table structure. It is temporarily you are giving a name. For example, in your home, you might be having your permanent name might be, let's say my permanent name is Shivasagar, and in my nickname, they might be calling Shiv. They might be calling Sagar. They might call any other my nicknames in the same way, but my permanent structure remains same. Whereas I want to use for temporary ways, I'll use something called as add. Okay. So far, we have seen few things. IndEquer is mainly responsible for your select query, where you're filtering your data based on the requirement. So far, we have seen operators less than, greater than, equal to, and not equal to. Mainly for your filtering of data, we have seen something called as between, where it between the range, whatever the data is there, that particular data it is coming in. If we want to insert a data, we use insert command. We want to update a data, we use update command. We want to delete a data, we use delete command. We want to give something called as access control, we use revoke or grant commands. And if you want to select and see any data, we are using select command. That being said, today will be your last demo for your 5 days so far, whatever you are seeing for your Snowflake Data Engineer batch. This was a last demo. And before ending my note, I just wanted to let you know, I know there are few folks who already know or were very good in SQL, but I wanted to bring this up because yesterday itself, now for data engineering, what happens? I'll be taking a lot of interviews inside my organization only, because every week at least 2 to 3 interviews I have to take, because that many number of requirements are there. They'll come and they'll apply. Yesterday I saw one thing. There was a candidate who was having 6+ years of experience. He had a lot of good, when we see a resume, he had a lot of certification. He said he had done, on the paper, his resume was very impressive. That's like he had done certification, he had done few of the, let's say, projects, so many things he had put inside his resume. Seeing that particular resume, it was very impressive. So we thought like he might be a very strong profile. So we had selected that candidate and I was interviewing. First and foremost question, any interview you go, introduce yourself. Whatever you introduce there, we'll come to know that whether you are in first 2 minutes, you will understand whether the candidates, 2 years, not 2 minutes, whether the candidates that he's giving interview, how much knowledge he have, how much background depth he have on top of your skills, whatever is working. So that's the reason we'll ask, introduce yourself. He introduced yourself for 2 minutes. He said, okay, I did a lot of certification. I did Snowpro certification. I'm good at AWS. I done AWS certification. I did also Fabric certification. I'm exploring on Databricks. He was boosting a lot of things. I was like, okay, that's great. The second question I asked was, explain me your project. It took only, he's a 6 years experience guy. It took 2 minutes to explain his project. And in that project, he said, I have a data, I bring data, PDF, this was data, I use Databricks, I use this, I put this. In a very layman language, he explained that. And I was like, he's 6 years of experience guy. He's explaining in a very layman language. At this moment, I knew this is not a strong candidate for my profile. But why judge him? Maybe his communication skill might be not up to the date, up to mark. Why judge him in 2 minutes? Let me give him a try. I went and gave a very simple question on join. I gave him table 1. I gave him table 2. I said, this is my ID 1. This is my ID 2. This is 0, 1, null. 0, 2, 1, null, and null. Join these two tables. Give me output for something called as inner join, left join, right join, full outer join. There are different joins. When we will come, we'll see. Ask him simple question. He was not able to handle these nulls. Few of the left join and right join. and full outer join. The moment he did not answer this foundation SQL question join on the join, just a basics. I not even ask him a complex question in Snowflake. I had mentioned Snowflake also and Databricks also. I did not ask him any of this particular question. I only asked him a simple join question, because your every data engineering interview or data analyst interview or data science interview, the first round will be your SQL plus Python, and for your data engineering will be PySpark. Based on this, they will judge. If you clear this particular interview only, you will be going on to the second round, where they'll be talking more about your project, how you implemented, what are the challenges. All these things will come into the picture when you go for managerial round. So you have to test. We don't know. He has worked on 6 years of experience. We have only 30 to 40 minutes to judge his caliber. And he was not able to answer this question. At that time, I knew he was not ready, but there is some rules and regulation in our organization. We have to at least take interview for 20 minutes, even though the candidates is correct or not. I simply continued for next 20 minutes. Honestly, I was wasting my time here. And this not only happens for 1 or 2 people. I see out of 10 profile, 5 to 6 people are failing in the foundation. They don't know the foundation. Then they say, okay, I'm not getting calls. I'm not able to clear the interview because they lack foundation. The foundation is where you have to be very, very important. Any data engineering project you go, either it might be using Databricks, you're using Snowflake, you're using AWS, you're using Azure, you're using GCP. Anywhere you go, SQL will follow you, Python will follow you for sure. Without these 2 skills, you can't do anything. And that's why each and every organization will check this. And don't just follow for certification. Don't just limit yourself saying that I'll do 10, 20 certification, my profile will be highlighted and they'll get a job. That will never happen, because certifications are only for selecting the profile. We never check what certification you have done. Whenever I'll be taking interview, I for sure will never judge. I am okay to give a guy who is good at the foundation, who has not done any certification. I won't judge based on his background. I won't see if he's from BTech, he's done something called as MTech. I won't judge on that. I won't judge on number of years of experience that's working. I only judge on next 30 to 40 minutes, how well he's answering, how well he know the knowledge, because we never know what profile he has shown. So that's the reason. And as a KSR, we always start with something SQL, because we target to do something on part of SQL. We want to start completely on foundation and we'll build on top of that projects. And any resume you go, the 2 main important is foundation and second is project. And if you are not able to explain your project, because a lot of candidates we have seen, they learn from, for example, you take a KSR only, you are learning from KSR, you're learning from YouTube or any other institute, they are applying and you are not able to explain a project, we'll understand, okay, you are not an experienced candidate. If sometimes we know that you are not a real candidate, we'll come to know the way you answer. Whenever we ask a real-time question, we'll come to know that you are not worked as a real-time, but at least you are having that knowledge, you are able to communicate, you are good at foundation, will give a chance, because in India is not a startup company. India is where outsourcing of work will be done mainly. Outsourcing is nothing but the IT companies will be hiring you and they will outsource you as a employee to one of the clients that can be in your US, UK, any European countries, and they will be charging you. Now you have shown 6 years. You might show us 6 years as a fake experience, and you have gone fake experience in the sense the data engineer 4 years has shown, and you have gone into the interview and you got selected to XYZ company. This particular company will go and show you, they build a resume. They say this is a 10 years candidate guy and is very good at this and all. You'll sell that to the client and then you will allocate that to the project. and then your manager will be helping you. Even though you're struggling, they will come and help because they are getting amount from the client. They are charging on client. They might be charging a $10K per month, and they will give you $3K, and rest $7K will go on top of your company pocket for managing your health related, all the anything whatever they do, they manage. So that being said, wherever you go, please learn data engineering. Data engineering is a very good tool. You will be having a lot of opportunity. Don't just run by certification. Build your foundation. If you want to learn, if you are not interested to join KSR, that's fine. Wherever you go, learn and try to apply. There are a lot of good opportunities in data engineering. That being said, we end 5 days of free classes. If you guys have any doubt, do let us know. We are happy to help you. Yep, Keshav.
The scenario that we have just told, like outsourcing a company charges the client this much amount and this much amount. Same kind of scenario, I think I am in. I have a different background. I HR background, staff. Recently moved into the data domain. I'm not gonna mention the name of background, but they are charging the client. I think this is what I feel. Because my manager, like my team lead helped me a lot in some activities. But I'm trying to learn on my own because the package that I'm getting is not worth it.
Yep. That's what I said.
That I have.
Yep, I totally agree. Whereas in US, this won't work. US will be why they say US is having a lot of they say I have $250K a year, and India you're having only this much. Why? Because the standard of living is more, and they will be not outsourcing like this. They will be directly working with client. That's why instead of going like third party like this, will be coming with direct. So that's the reason. Pay will be also more, but standard of living is also more there. But India is what this is. But you get a chance to work on project, upskill, and then once you are good, go and apply with certain companies which are product-based company, which are directly working on certain things, or very good companies. You can go and apply. At that time, this third-party service will not come into the picture. Got it?
Like you mentioned, the guy that you were interviewing, this person does not have the experience that we showing skills. Like same way for me, if I go to uncertainty, even after the
sorry, I am having a lot of disturbance from your side.
I'm showing it by the like my experience was different.
I'm having a lot of disturbance from your side. I think some issue with the mic. Can you take that mic a bit closer and speak louder?
Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now. Can you talk? Okay. Meanwhile, anyone having any other doubts?
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Go ahead. Okay. Meanwhile, others, if you want to join and have anything, I think Mahesh, are you there?
Yes. Yes, sorry, I'm there. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, any questions you have apart from technical, you can ask me. Yeah, you can join WhatsApp group, and if any fee related, our team will be available. You can call to them and you can ask them like how to join from Monday onwards. Okay. So till 5 classes is completed. Hope all fine to you, right? Any questions? Amit, Bhargav, Bhaskar, Kevin, Mahinder, Nirosha, Nilai. Someone joined with Oppo, Raz. The course duration will go for 5 months, and maybe some people are asking like a lengthy duration, but honestly, we don't have any choice. We have to be take a lengthy course. Only reason, once you got the job, you are not attending interviews as a fresher. Mostly here, all are working experience profiles, maybe like a 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, some people even 10 plus years. So we are going to be showcase your previous experience as well, right? So obviously companies will expect more from you. So we need to be satisfy their requirements. And this course also designed for in India, it's at least 20 lakhs package we need to be cracked. At least I'm saying, who already holding 20, getting a 40, not a big deal. Who currently holding around 10 lakhs. So our ultimate goal to get minimum 100% hike. It's not a maximum 100% hike. It's a minimum 100% hike. Your experience into 4 lakhs will be the minimum criteria in Indian market now. Example, your experience is 4 years. You can expect at least 16 lakhs as a package. Your total work experience. I'm not expecting related to only Snowflake. Your total experience. Anyone have questions on this statement also, you can ask me like, is it really true or something? These kind of doubts, if anyone have. So I'm able to answer. Data engineers, that much demand is there in the market. Everyone is going about data analytics and data science and Gen AI, but the actual work will be data engineers and very less people in the market. The demand and supply is a huge gap. I guess the first class I made one challenge, like you can make your resume today. By end of these sessions itself, the first 5 classes, you will get calls. That much demand is there for a Snowflake or a cloud engineering or a data engineering or Azure data engineering. So any data engineers, we have that much demand.
Okay. For example, I just searched for the Snowflake data engineering in Naukri. If you see there, 35,000 job openings are there only for the August. And if you come for Bangalore, it is around 11,000. I did not add AWS, I did not add DBT, I did not add any other things, only Snowflake data engineering. So that's the reason it's a very high in demand. So we are adding a lot of material. So for example, just today morning, we are explaining, we are receiving a lot of things. We'll build a pipelines like this. Again, this is for material, it's a simple. More complicated pipelines we'll be building as an end node. I just wanted to show you that. So I was showing this. So these particular openings are there. That's the reason we have added all the skills. Now, whoever is feeling like, okay, that's starting with SQL, Python, why this all required, only Snowflake is required. If you go and search any of the job profile, you'll get Python as mandatory and Airflow along with Snowflake. That's the reason for Airflow, we need something called as Python. And for writing any PySpark code, we need Python. And SQL is a foundation for PySpark. So we're adding both. Yeah, Mesh, continue. Okay, any other doubts, guys? Keshav, you are having some doubts. I'm not able to hear you. Can you talk now?
Yeah,
Yeah, Keshav.
I have 9 years of experience.
How many years?
But nine years of experience.
9 years. Okay, great.
Started my career in staffing.
Sorry, you are initially?
US IT recruiting.
IT recruiting.
Yeah, you were for
Yes, IT
US. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
staffing more like a.
Like I know US recruiting. I am aware because
Yeah.
20% of our students from US only, and most of the US recruiter work from Hyderabad for US consultancies, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I am aware about that. Yes.
So I'm having experience with that domain. Recently, data space. So if I go into the market and how should I project myself? Like after doing everything I said.
So Keshav,
I'm in the initial phase right now. I'm just trying to understand things. But after doing it, how should I project myself? And what kind of package I can
yeah. So Keshav, like as a US recruiter, maybe some points I'm going to be ask you. It's anyway when the recording it's just fine. Like we are not aware who you are, right? Tell me, like as a US recruiter, which profiles you are picking? How many genuine experience profiles? The percentage. One.
Yeah, I mean there are so many files. I mean,
Not so many. Only 10% might be the genuine experience.
Yeah,
even that 90% they are put up by the other previous experience into the other documents. Like example, they have a non-IT experience. They are keeping it as a data engineers, data scientist, data analyst, or else Java, Python, all these things. Then only US market they are able to get the calls. I see lot many people who completed their master just now, but they are put up the experience for 70, 80 years. Right, Keshav? And still they are able to manage. Work-wise, they are able to manage, right? So it's a controversial word like the put up experience, we will keep aside, but we will come to the point like they are able to manage or not that experience.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they
Yeah,
fail.
sometimes means what happens, right? These consultancies, they don't have time. They will choose some other backdoor processes to get job early without completing the process proper course. I seen these complaint most of the people from US only saying like 5 months is a heavy. We can't afford 5 months time. I need a course within a 1.5 to 2 months. So with this course, like you are equal to a 4 years experience profile. Only on Snowflake point, I'm saying again, Keshav. So as a Snowflake data engineer, a 4 years experience guy, how much skills and knowledge they have, you will get a better than that. Example, like you can ask any of your friends or relatives or known person, anyone working as a Snowflake data engineer, share our curriculum and ask them, do you have idea on all these topics? 100% I will make sure no one of your known person can know all the subjects which we are teaching, expectly particularly Matillion. If they know DBT, they don't know Matillion. If they know Azure, they don't know AWS. If they know Snowflake, they don't know even Snowpark.
No. My question is not like I'm not questioning your course. My question is, once doing the course, I mean, I'm having like 9 years of experience in one particular domain. How much experience I can show, or I can project
That's what
myself
Keshav,
into
I
the
said
market,
4 years
and
experience.
what kind of package I can expect.
Yeah. Package wise, I already told you, your experience into 4 lakhs will be the minimum package. And I already explained all these things. Reason you get equal to a 4 years experience profile with this course only on Snowflake point of view. Example, your total 9 years work experience, right? Out of that, you can showcase at least 4 years as a Snowflake data engineering. And your package you can expect depends on your current one. Usually you can expect up to 40 lakhs. But if your current package is just 10 lakhs, right, we can't ask directly 40 lakhs. But still you can get 100% hike.
So let's say
Example,
somebody
recently one of our
like,
student got a package of 19.8 lakhs for 2.6 years experience. Keshav, you got it, or else I need maybe I need more clarity. Your experience into 4 lakhs will be the lowest package we can expect. And you are eligible to showcase at least 4 years only on Snowflake. You are out of your total 9 years experience. We are able to manage up to 4 years of Snowflake data engineering experience. And depends on your current package, we can expect more than that. May I know your current package if possible?
at the range of 10 to.
Yeah, so worst package you can expect 20 lakhs.
See, it depends on how well you clear your interview. Okay, for example, if you have 3 months of notice period, the starting package will be always, now since you are 9 years and let's consider as 10, you can go and demand 16, 17, they will give, because in IT, whenever they go and charge as a client, they'll say what number of years of experience into
Let me
to
share my
client.
screen, Sagar. I will show you one of student. While he was joining also, he had an issue and he said like my communication also not that good. But he pinged me later after 4 months saying like which company I need to choose. Just opening his. Yeah. He joined in the March. His current package at that time while joining course around 7 to 8 lakhs. And he chosen one of the company from here. Maybe I can't reveal now. He actually got around 12 offers, but out of that, he figured out 8. Out of 8, he was asking me which company I want to join. Okay. So meanwhile, he researched with some companies and he connected with their LinkedIn profiles and Tredence and all. He thought Tredence may be a little difficult for him now. I said Tredence is one of the good company, go and join. But he said that the project will be little tough, so I don't want to take risk. So maybe he chosen another different company. It's up to him. Okay. So these kind of. It's for data engineers only. Same case, some cases even we need to be sacrificed. Example, 2 days back, one more student got a job in because she had almost 4 years career break. Usually after 4 years career break, it's difficult to get an opportunity. But she got with a very less package, that too as an analyst, not as an engineer. Even she completed course in data engineer, they are asked to work only SQL, Python and Power BI only. She approached me, Mahesh, shall I take? I said, instead of killing your time and going with the fake experience, better accept this offer and work for 1 year, and later you can go for your desired opportunities. For any, let me share that also. Shanti. Yes. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. It's in a diagnostic company.
Yeah.
She got a job, not as an very decent kind of Tech Mahindra, TCS or Infosys, not like that. She got job in a diagnostic company, but as analytics. She had a 4 years career back. So it's a depends on situation. I suggested her, don't stop your applying for the opportunities. From day one onwards, again, still you can approach the companies. Maybe if anyone accepting even 4 years break, you can just join that company. If the same girl convincing for making put up experience and all, for sure she can get a more than 20 lakhs package. But she was not comfortable to do all those things. So she was genuine and she approached some companies who are ready to accept with even less package with her career break. And she joined that company. Right? Keshav, you got answer or else you can ask me if anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any more questions, guys?
So you will be helping us how to build our resume, how to showcase our this 4 years experience. And
Let me show you that one also to you.
all those things.
Let me share my screen again. I want to show everything as a proof. So we have a separate team for mentors. Every resume, these people will call them and they will check their previous background, how many years of experience they are holding, and which domain. Example, I guess Harshita. If she was working with the TCS and her client is Pepsi. So our team is checking with her total years of experience in the same TCS, same Pepsi, but her roles and responsibilities as a data analyst or data engineer as per that. Okay. So every resume they will verify and at least they will take 1 hour time. First the 10 to 15 minutes they will check with the candidate and they will collect all the information from the student. Depends on their respective region, they will make a resume. Not like simply giving some sample resumes asked to make it. Initially, we will provide you sample resumes. We'll ask you to make it your own. After that, we will validate each resume. Apart from that, every alternate day, we will take in a session called placement cell session. Even today, 7 o'clock, we have. On placement cell session, I am going to be take the session and you can ask me on that day, Mahesh, you promised me like we will get a calls. Now I am not getting. Every batch people will join, even 22, 23, 24 batch people also. So those students also can join and can ask me like, I'm not getting calls, Mahesh, now. Got it right? Let me show you that also. Can I able to see, right?
Mahesh, what's your
Same link
email
will work
address?
like every alternate day, like Monday at 11 o'clock, Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and Friday at 7 p.m. IST. Mostly I only will handle, if I'm not available, my team will handle on that day. They will check your Naukri, your LinkedIn, or else your resume, why you are not getting calls. And some cases, people used to get a calls, but they won't schedule the interview. And at that time, we will request to the record conversation between you and recruiter. They are calling you, but they are not scheduling in the sense, only reason the conversation with the recruiter. One of the recent example I will tell you. Same one guy is saying I'm not getting calls. I validate his profile. There are some flaws. We modified. And later after 1 week he joined and saying, Mahesh, I got a call every day, but no one is scheduling. Then I asked to listen the conversation. The recruiter calling from Bangalore, and he was asking for Hyderabad location. So obviously they won't schedule the interview. So first our priority to attend an interview, not even clearing interview. Attending an interview is our priority. Let's attend the interview. Even they said like you need to relocate to anywhere. That's fine. First attend the interview, crack the interview, then you will get a confidence. After cracking interview, you can decide whether you have to go or else you have to choose a better opportunity. Right?
Yes.
Example, one more profile. While he was taking the course itself, I told maybe it's difficult to you to get job. This is one guy for DevOps engineer. Only he had a 2.8 years experience at that time. I told DevOps usually for 5+ years, I can't make any promise. So later I got to know there are some openings for 3+ also. I told I didn't make any promise you will get an offer. But good thing is recently he got a job. He requested to wait for 2-3 days. So that's the reason I didn't reveal. Okay. During class only, I am saying like a DevOps engineer 3+ will be difficult. Usually 5+ only. Only data engineers will get even 2+ years. Data analytics and Power Platform also at least 3+. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, team? Anyone have questions? Maybe you can ask me.
Yeah, hi, Satish.
Share. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I do have 0 years of experience in technical domain because of my civil services exam preparation. I have 7 years of gap.
Currently, you are not working?
No, I'm not working.
Yeah. So in this case, it's a little difficult to not only this, any domain also, it will be difficult with the 7 years gap. So for your case, we need to look for any freelancing opportunities or else difficult. I'm saying not impossible. I'm saying just a difficult. So we need to convince the panel like you are good with the technical skills. We need to make a more certification, Snow Pro certification, SQL or else Azure related certification. Other people I won't recommend in India. But in your case, we need a more certification to convince them you are technically sound. Then only we can get an opportunities.
Okay.
Or else the most of the people will do right fake experience we will get, but the risk will be there with the fake experience. I will tell you to avoid those kind of, better we will go with the genuine, make a more experience on technical skills and get some certification and be active in LinkedIn from today onwards. Example, tomorrow Sagar is taking one SQL topic, right? Make that SQL topic as an article in your LinkedIn. By completing the 6 months of the course, right, you will get in a better portfolio and you can showcase your all the certifications. SQL, we have some free certifications. Snowflake, we have DBT, we have AWS, we have Azure, we have. So by showcasing all your certification, we can convince the startup companies to hire you for less package. You have to accept initially for the less package.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we are going to be guide you even in that case.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? All good. Okay, then we will meet on Monday, guys.
Okay, Mahesh. Thank you for attending these 5 sessions. I wish you all the best. If you're able to meet on Monday, we'll continue, or else I wish you all the best. Do well with your career. Thank you.
Thank you.